chiseled onto his running board as Kronk sat at the station of the same name as him. It was a little station within a valley. He was trying to get used to his new life. According to Abby, he was the best express engine she had ever seen. He didn't know if she was right or not. Pulling trains was weird to him. He remembered one thing from his other life, and that's that he hadn't pulled one in a long time. He learned that he was working on the Kronk Abbey Railway, a small railway that ran from Abbey to the base of Ward Fell, wherever that was. He had not been fully up the line yet since his repairs. He sat cozily at the platform, humming an indistinct yet familiar tune to himself. "Get ready, boy," said Joel Hammers, his driver. "Come on, Tib, get the fire started." "Stop it, Joel. It's Jim. I know you didn't hit your head hard enough in the crash to forget that," roared the fireman, who was reading a book. Joel laughed. "Yeah, well, you know you shouldn't be reading on the job." "Oh, come on. I just got to the good part." Jim held his book up to Joel, revealing the title, The Cardinal's Curse. "Grain and Scar are the last two survivors on the battlefield, and because the tournament only lets one person survive, they have to battle it out in front of their dead llama's grave." "That sounds like a silly book." "It's not. Ooh, I can't wait for the ending." "Grain wins," scoffed Kronk. "What? How do you know that?" "The good guy always wins. You know it." "Yeah, but Skara is also a good guy. But he did some gritty things during his life and kept paying the price." "I suppose. Wait, you read?" "No, I just remembered." He remembered. The glimpse of fire surrounding him arose in his mind. He felt his face burning. The air became crisp. He saw the silhouette of the saddle tank standing in front of him in tears as he shrugged the thought. He blinked over and over, trying to stop thinking about it, the image sitting in front of him. But no matter what, he saw the silhouette of them. And then it wasn't. It wasn't a saddle tank. It was an odd small engine standing on the rails off in the yards, but it didn't look like it could even fit on the rails. It looked exceptionally small to be standing on the rails. It was hard to make out. The rain blurred his vision. He couldn't even tell if it was on the rails properly. But it was there, staring at him. A line of trucks rolled in front of it as Abby shunted. Just like that, it was gone. He blinked as the trucks disappeared. No matter what Kronk did, it wouldn't reappear. On cue, the guard blew their whistle, and Kronk left. Kronk had a decently nice run. He had met, as he was told, old friends who wished for his best recovery. He made his way down the line past a station called Kildane and drew to the field he had crashed in. The stones he had seen before loomed overhead on the hill. "What are those?" he asked Joel. "The rocks. That's the standing stones." "What are they for?" "Well, people say that they were built for some cult back in the day. But, between you and me, I think it's some silly tourist trap the railway made to draw in tourists." Soon, the entire trip was a Q&A between Kronk and his crew. "Where does that line go?" he asked as he rounded over a junction. The line had 3 tracks. He remembered seeing 3 tracks before, but couldn't remember what it meant as he went down the single-track line. "That's the main line. It was constructed almost a decade back when all the other railways merged together." "Other railways?" "Yeah, there's the Wellsworth and Sudrian, the Tinmouth Nafford, and, well, they're not railways anymore. Our merge happened back in, 1914, 15. The directors haven't gotten around to labeling you guys all out. That's why you guys still carry the CNR. "Who's that?" "The directors." "No, that." Kronk gestured to the field beside the line. The wheat swayed unnaturally, as if something big was running through it that had just been so happening to watch him. "Must be the farmer," shrugged Jim. "That's a bit rude, isn't it? His kids must be playing about." "A kid that big?" asked Kronk hesitantly, as the bump disappeared. "I don't know. A tractor?" They passed another junction. "Where does that go?" "That goes to the old Bolidrin mines, right under the standing stones. Closed down years ago from workers disappearing." "Didn't they die to ghosts?" shivered Jim. "What? No. I think it was some mine collapse because they were building on sacred ground." No, stupid. They were mining on a large, heavy structure. What you think's gonna happen? They continued until they arrived at the last station. It sat at the base of a large mountain. Up in the hills sat a little abandoned church. It was decrepit, with turrets destroyed and overgrown. Ward fell, announced Joel as he exited the cab, embracing the station with a deep breath of cool air. The rain departed now, leaving a cool winter evening. What's that? What? That church up in the hills. Oh, that's Kirkdenan. That's Cedric for... I think Kirk means church, right? Yep. And then Deanan, that's devil, finished Jim grimly. Church devil? No, Church of the Devil. Kronk looked up at the abandoned church that sat far in the hills. He couldn't help himself but to look at the figure of the little purple engine sitting right in the shattered door. You want to be called what? Heavy rain poured around the darkened shed. Deanan. I'd like for you to call me Deanan. But Kronk! Deanan? This is a lot. I mean, I support you, of course, but ever since the accident, I've been the same person that I've been. But you're not the same, Deanan. I used to know. I've been the same classic Dean I've ever been. Classic old monkey shin Dean. Something flashed in his eyes. Arguing. Lots of arguing. There were two arguments happening in his head at once, though. One was of him and Abby arguing. But it was that night. It had been just moments prior to his crash. Joel and Jim were getting him ready to leave for their goods train. It was raining as well. He felt ill. But it wasn't him who felt ill. It wasn't Dean. It was Kronk. Lightning flashed as the scene seemingly changed into the other argument. The lightning made massive flames drawl across his face. His brother sat in front of him, sobbing tears. Flames rose around them as he shoved him forward. The burning felt surreal as a megaphone seemed to blast into his ears. And as for you, old friend, Dean turned to the man standing beside him as he seemingly popped into existence. I'll see you in hell. More flames grew around the room as the man dashed away. More flames erupted in front of him before dying down. His face was warm as his cheeks became rosy. Cool rain pelted against it as reality seemingly restored itself. And then he remembered. He remembered it all. He knew who he was. He looked on at the familiar silhouette standing just beyond the rain in front of the sheds. Your eyes, sobbed his supposed sister, sitting next to him. It was hard to tell if her face was covered in tears or rain. They're not the same. They used to be a bright blue. And now they're a dual green, like they've always been, snarled Dean. He stuttered. Who was our builder? What? Are you deaf? Who was our builder? Father, you mean... Don't call him that! He will never be a father of mine, he bellowed. His shrill voice surrounded the valley. I need to go. Where? The Balladrin Mines. What? Why? Goodbye. And just like that, Dean departed into the night.